Welcome back to the Cuddy and Gavi Show. We're on YouTube, Spotify, X, Twitter. We're all over the place. We have reels exploding. We have reels going every day on TikTok, on YouTube, on Instagram. Anyway, I'm back in Boca Raton. I've been away about a month and a half. I was up north, which happens to be hotter than down here. It's 100 degrees up here. Down here, Gavi, we have the nice, cool ocean breeze. It's just beautiful.
Except for the studio.
Yeah, the studio's a little hot. Anyway, I mean, it's an exciting week. We're back here, and over the weekend, they tried to assassinate Donald Trump. So we're going to talk about that a little. And prior to that, we had our show. We were going to talk about Joe Biden getting kicked out of the Democratic race for president. But, I mean, he got kind of pushed off the side for this Donald Trump assassination. It's just unbelievable. We're sitting here today. They picked his vice president, J.D. Vance, right? And we're sitting here today. He's at the convention 48 hours or 24 hours later. If that bullet, and I think about this all day long, if that bullet was like a quarter of an inch further over, or the wind gust blew, or he didn't turn his head, we'd be at a funeral right now. It's just remarkable, this whole storyline. And I just wanted to start out, with your permission. I tore this out of the New York Post. The statement that Melania Trump wrote
was special.
It was so unbelievable. Now, Melania Trump is very quiet. I mean, you don't hear her like a Jill Biden screeching and talking and running. She's very quiet, and I don't even know if she was going to be part of this campaign. But she wrote this thing, and I'm going to read it. It's really unbelievable. When I watched the violent bullet strike my husband, Donald, I realized my life and my son's life, Barron's, were on the brink of a devastating change. A monster who recognized my husband as an inhumane political machine attempted to wring out Donald's passion, his laughter, his ingenuity, love of music, and inspiration. The core facets of my husband's life, his human side, were buried below the political machine. Donald, the generous and caring man who I've been with through the best of times and the worst of times. I mean, it's an incredible statement. I mean, and the pictures we have here, Michael's going to put them up on our show. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Look at this guy. They just shot him. He's got blood on his face. The Secret Service are picking him up on the ground after they jumped on top of him, and he has the foresight to put his hand up in the air. He had 91 indictment counts against him. They tried to bankrupt him. They impeached him. They've done everything possible to this guy. Now they shot him. And the guy gets up and he sticks his hand up in the air in front of the American.
He wanted his shoes, though.
Yeah, he wanted his shoes. You know why I think he wanted his shoes?
Why?
My theory, conspiracy theory, I think he's only like 6 foot tall and he has lifts in him.
Oh, come on.
And he has like 3-inch lifts in him. Yeah. And he was afraid to walk without his shoes because they would see he's not 6'3".
On the golf course, I see him. Come on.
But anyway, let's talk about this. I mean, Gavi's been with me a bunch of times at the golf course. I've been next to this guy 150 times, inches away. During his 4 years as president, his 4 years as ex-president, I've seen the Secret Service in action. They have snipers in trees. They have guys walking around with bazookas. They have motorcades. They have dogs.
They have drones.
They have drones. They have dogs. For them not to have somebody on the roof of a building 150 yards away, I just can't wrap my head around it. It just can't be possible.
Well, it's when everybody starts pointing the finger right now, they're all blaming each other. So the Secret Service is blaming the local police. The local police is basically blaming that it wasn't their deal. I mean, think about this. a local cop was told to go up there because there was a guy with a gun. And that's only from the crowd. The crowd was saying there's a guy with a gun up there. Now, the people with the scopes, the snipers with the scopes that are from the SWAT team, they had to have seen him because there's only one building with the roof. So, and they took him out immediately. So,
but why didn't they shoot him when they saw him rather than wait for?
Because I think they sent a regular local cop from that area.
Right.
And he went up there, and never in his wildest dreams, when he kissed his wife goodbye, did he ever think he was going to be climbing a ladder to see a sniper that was going to take out the President of the United States. And he was ill prepared that if he was going up there, if you're already going up on the roof to see if there's someone up there, you should have your gun pulled.
Well, how can you climb a wall and have your gun out?
Well, you climb and you
I think he was startled,
before
right?
you get to the last step up there, you make sure you pull your gun out and you're ready to shoot the person. I mean, you got to be prepared.
The thing I don't understand, the guy, the sniper, our guy, the Secret Service guy, can see him, and he's on his radio. Should I take the shot? I mean, there's a guy on a roof with a gun, and it could be like Las Vegas, where he's not shooting the president; he's shooting the people in the stands.
But technically.
And by the way, excuse me 1 second. We want to wish our best to the family that lost the spectator, a fireman. 2 other people were injured. It's terrible. But go ahead.
I was going to say, this happened before. It's like deja vu. I mean, to a lot of military guys out there, they're going to say, we didn't learn from Afghanistan because there was that suicide bomber that the snipers saw him and they asked to take him out, and they were told to stand down. And they didn't take out that suicide bomber. That 13 soldiers were killed. And they were in communication, and their superior said, stand down. A lot of this hasn't come out yet. There's a chance that these SWAT guys, could have said, we see someone, they were told, don't do it yet. We're not sure. It's not clear. Maybe it's a kid. He looked, he was 21 years old.
Yeah, but there's a guy standing next to him with these long-range military binoculars. They could pick hairs out of your head. I mean, they
dropped the ball all the way around.
I mean, they could see a pimple on your nose with those binoculars.
Listen, if you want to get down to it, the person who's in charge of the Secret Service, let's talk about it. She was Jill Biden's Secret Service that was there to guard Joe Biden
when she was vice president.
When she was vice president.
Right.
When she left office, she went to PepsiCo and was in charge of their security detail. And then when they came back, Jill Biden wanted to hire her.
This is Joe's wife, Jill.
Dr. Jill Biden.
Yeah, Dr. Jill Biden. Because when I hear it on TV, I'm like, were they saying Jill or Joe? Jill.
Right.
Dr. Jill.
Dr. Jill Biden. And basically, it's a DEI hire. And they want, her main goal,
diversity, equity, and inclusion.
And her main thing was she wanted to bring more women into the Secret Service like herself. She wanted to get the number up, maybe to 30%. Well, if you looked at it, there were several female Secret Service agents there. Some that I didn't understand is they were 5'4", 5'5", guarding the president who's 6'3". I mean, if you're supposed to cover him, a headshot was so easy because that's one thing you can't do. You can't grow. You can't get taller. And they also fumbled with the gun, with the holster. They looked like they didn't know what they were doing.
Well, this whole DEI thing is falling apart. Like Elon Musk is coming out against it. Bill Ackman, the hedge fund guy, is coming out against it. I mean, can you imagine getting on an airplane and the pilot getting on there? We're on our way to West Palm Beach, and I want to announce I was hired. I'm a DEI pilot.
Well,
are you excited to be on that plane? You want to be the most qualified person. Black, white, women, men, most qualified.
Well, let me ask you a question. United Airlines is coming out that they're one of their ad campaigns basically is they are going to be proactive on hiring DEI pilots. Now, if I was American Airlines or Delta Airlines, I would come out with an ad saying, we will not participate in DEI hires because when it comes to the safety of our passengers, we just want to go for the best person available. Now, if I'm going to fly a flight, I would rather fly Delta or another flight than United Airlines that's telling me they're hiring DEI people. I don't want a person that's filling a box.
Well, I think the confusion where it stands with this Secret Service does other things besides protect the president. I mean, you can have a 5'4" woman doing counterfeiting, doing these other things that the Secret Service do, but they can't protect a guy that's 6'3" tall. I mean, the whole deal is you're supposed to jump in front of a bullet and protect the guy. You're supposed to risk your life.
But some of the things they can do if you're really close with them, like Dr. Jill Biden and Joe, and the person is indebted to you because you hired her, you can do certain things like make sure that no one finds the cocaine in the White House. That was that was in charge of the Secret Service. That was their job. They closed the case.
So you're saying they have an affiliation with the Bidens, and now they find, let's call it,
they got rid of the gun.
Hunter Biden's gun
They paid Hunter Biden when he was at the Hotel Montmartre in California.
And the White House, they found cocaine in the White House, the most secure house in America. Cameras everywhere. And in a week, they tell you all the tapes are destroyed. They have no idea.
Case closed.
Case closed. They have no idea who did it.
Right.
The Secret Service.
The Secret Service. So there's a lot there that what the Secret Service also does as far as the White House. They protected there was also the Secret Service that was protecting Kamala Harris. If you remember, one of the females Secret Service members went ballistic, got into some fight, and was rolling on the ground with her superior officer throwing body blows. I mean, they also wasn't one of the Secret Service lost her gun when she was carjacked with Ashley Biden, the granddaughter. They were carjacked.
Right. Well, the thing I don't understand.
I mean, that's a lot of stuff going on with the Secret Service.
Right. So, and, not to be a conspiracy theorist, because that's not good, but, they tried to bankrupt the guy. They put 91 charges against him in this Mar-a-Lago's worth $18 million, or the records case or whatever. Then they impeached him prior to that when he was president.
12 states tried to get him off the ballot.
12 states
he had to go to the Supreme Court for that.
Then all of a sudden, Joe Biden's fighting for his political life because he's unconscious during the debate. And then 2 weeks later, or 2 weeks after that, I mean, somebody shoots this guy. And the thing is, the kid's 20 years old. He's on nobody's screen. It's like they plucked him out of a movie. He has no social media footprint.
But the people
he
saw
has no
him.
friends.
But people saw him on the roof. It's not like It's not like Lee Harvey Oswald, and no one knew is it one shooter or two shooter. They knew it was him.
Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable. But so it's like I told.
I want to ask you a question. I want your opinion on this. Now that they got the guy. The only reason why they
now that I am a podcast superstar, I do have a lot of opinions. On this. I do have a lot.
No, I want to give you. I need your opinion on this. Now that the only way that they found out who the shooter was is through the gun, and the gun was registered to his father, and that's how they traced it to this kid. I don't understand how they're having a tough time opening up his Apple phone.
This is such a hard conversation. I don't even.
Is it that hard?
Okay, I agree with you. So the issue, folks, is the FBI can't get into this kid's phone to figure out who he was texting, who he was talking to. The whole deal with the Apple phone, you can't, it's encrypted or whatever the word is, and you can't get into it. The question is, absolutely, they tried to kill a president of the United States. Get into that phone. But where do you draw the line? My daughter's kidnapped, God forbid, poo-poo a million times. Are we allowed to look at somebody's phone? I mean, where do you draw the line? How do you know what's okay to look into somebody's phone and what's not?
Well, they did get into the phone with that San Bernardino mass shooting
How'd
in California.
They do it?
I think the FBI got some expert that they were able to crack the phone. But Apple did not cooperate.
Well, I mean, the frat boys are hackers. I mean, they could hack into it,
I don't
can't
know
they?
about that.
You don't think they could hack it?
No.
Cuddy Jr., you got the guy working for Google, your buddy, that's a hacker of the hackers.
But I do think that they have to be, that they could go up, that a judge can demand Apple to
And
open
what if
up.
Apple refuses?
It goes to court. You don't have a lot of time. It should
No,
go right
you
to
don't
the.
know.
I don't know. It has to be taken care of, because what happens if this guy's talking to 5 other people and there could be other assassinations taking place?
What happens if the guy at 10 years old, China, Iran, somebody came under his tutorship and stewardship, or whatever the word is, and, they've been grooming him for 10 years to do this? I just find it remarkable that the one building at the one event before the convention, this guy found. Right. I mean, that
but
they
also found explosives in his house and in his thing. Now, what happens if in his phone you found out that there's bombs from that are planted in Milwaukee at this RNC? Shouldn't you be aware that this guy is maybe working in cahoots with some? I mean, just the guy was making bombs. Shouldn't you know maybe there's another one in place somewhere?
All right, so this is such a great conversation, folks. I mean, if I'm asking you, our audience out here, would you be okay if I looked into your phone? My answer is yes. You can look into my phone. I don't do anything wrong. I have a problem.
But constitutionally, people could say you're going against their
you want to
amendments.
Look at my phone? You think I I committed a crime? Look in my phone. I'm all about safety, saving people's lives, whatever. If you think I'm guilty, look into my phone. This is such a hard conversation because people are like, there's no way.
So according to you, though, if we do that, you're trusting the government to look into your phone.
I guess I am.
Okay, so now, do you think Alec Baldwin should be trusting the government and a prosecutor that planted bullets?
Well, you're throwing some good stuff out here, Gal. Gavi's on his game today.
I'm just saying, like if you trust the government,
that was horrific.
Okay, do you think Donald Trump should trust the government on everything that's coming through with the boxes and everything that came through?
No.
Do you think he should trust the government that all of a sudden the third in command, that's the attorney general, third in command, steps down and then takes a job working for Bragg in New York and now is prosecuting you? I mean, there's a lot that you don't...
It's really bad. It's really bad, but I mean...
Wait, 51 people signed a letter saying that the computer... Hunter Biden's computer was Russian disinformation. So at a certain point, why would you trust the government?
You're 100% right. But here, somebody almost assassinated 45.
I agree with you.
And now 47. We need to get in that phone right now. We need to know if Iran's behind it. We need to know if China's behind it. We need to know if Putin's behind it.
Where's that Eric Snowden when you need him?
Right. Trump had a lot of haters.
Right.
I mean, you had a lot of haters. We need to know who this guy's talking to. And I just think, trust the federal government. Alec Baldwin, they hung him out to dry. He has 6 or 8 kids.
Where do you think we would be if it did hit Trump in the head and, God forbid, he passed away? Do you think that the Republican Party and the Trump backers would think that it was because of the rhetoric that Biden said, put a target on him, we got to stop him at all costs, he can never enter the White House again? When you have Maxine Waters say, do whatever it takes, he has to be stopped. Do you think that some of that rhetoric is like sending a signal out to stop him?
Well, I mean, I listened to Joe Biden last night. I voted for the guy. And I couldn't even stomach his conversation. It was such bullshit from from the Oval Office. I couldn't even listen to the guy. We need peace. We need unity. All this bullshit that he's talking about, but yet he doesn't practice what he preaches. I mean, it's just terrible.
Well, but what also is crazy, what comes out is you get to see the intelligence of some of the people that when they watch something that took place like this on TV that's monumental,
right?
Like Benny Thompson, his campaign person, when she sits there and says, and she's the spokesperson for a congressman from Mississippi, and she says, next time I hope he would be a better shot. I mean, and this is the guy who wanted to take away his Secret Service. So you know that your guy that you're working for put up to vote, made a thing to take up for a vote to take away Trump's detail. And now she makes this comment. There is just no... she shouldn't be in politics, and he should step down.
And there's this dark web. I don't follow it. I don't even know how to get on it. But, I watch these mafia shows on YouTube and whatever. I follow all that stuff. And they have these, like, rats that decided to turn against the government. And they sit there and they explain their world prior to turning against the government. Like, they pick up the phone, assuming it's monitored, and they say to the person on the other line, the hitman that's supposed to go kill Joe, they don't say, go kill Joe. They say, go deliver spaghetti and meatballs to Joe tonight. And that means go kill Joe. So this, or Frank, or whoever they're after. So by Biden saying, put a bullet or put a bullseye on his back or whatever, maybe that's a target. Maybe that's some subliminal message to the dark web that building. I mean, this is a wild conspiracy theory. Like, the Secret Service aren't going to be covering this rally the way they should.
But at the same time, do you think it's also a message that the Attorney General Garland, who chose a special prosecutor in Smith to prosecute Trump, not who did Biden, but Smith, all of a sudden today, the judge in Florida basically says that she throws out the case in Florida because constitutionally he wasn't appointed by the Senator of Congress.
It's unbelievable.
So how could Garland choose a person that's illegal to prosecute? This is the top attorney general for the United States, chose an illegal person to prosecute the ex-president of the United States. And you want to know, should you trust the government? I mean, what's Garland doing?
Well, he's doing the same thing that Peter Navarro and Steve Bannon are doing, who are sitting in jail, or Alan Weisselberg. They contempt of Congress. Garland's guilty of that. He's not going to jail.
Well, do you think that should there be an investigation on this like January 6th, and we call this July 13th? I mean, the president, you talk about democracy, you could have ended a president, the front runner, who's most likely going to be president of the United States.
Well, first things first, they got to get that Apple phone
And how about
open.
Mayorkas?
Yeah, I mean, who's in charge of the Secret Service? I mean, they have to get that Apple phone opened right away. There has to be the Supreme Court, some judge they can go to get that phone opened.
Mayorkas just gave RFK Secret Service protection.
Oh, did he get it today?
Yeah, they just announced that he got.
Well, I mean, they had to because of this happened.
Yeah, and we need him to take away votes from Biden.
Right now, the discussion is, why wasn't there a Secret Service agent on the roof? If Donald Trump was killed, it would be a whole different discussion.
Well,
it would be like, oh my God.
Well, with everybody blaming everybody and pointing fingers, and the Secret Service blaming the police and the state police, then you know who that brings into play? Who is the top boss of the state police of Pennsylvania?
I guess the governor.
Josh Shapiro. Josh Shapiro, who could build a bridge better than anybody in the country in I-95. But he's still a newbie when it comes to a governor. So now he has the president of the United States coming to his state to give a speech. And he has
100 times, I think.
Yeah,
he's been to Pennsylvania 100 times.
That's Joe Biden.
Yeah, Joe Biden.
But I'm talking for him.
Oh,
so
Donald
now
Trump.
Donald Trump is coming to who he's against.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, Trump is coming to an area that there's one building. One little building. This isn't like it's like he's talking like in the Bronx like he was doing.
Right.
And Josh Shapiro dropped the ball because he should have made sure that state police and the local police and the Secret Service are all on the same page. And Josh Shapiro, this was a cluster mistake, and he is the top dog.
And you would think you're having a rally in a small town like that, 20, 30,000 people, that would be the biggest thing they've ever done.
Absolutely.
You would think that the guy would be all over it, talking to the police chief. We don't want any trouble. We want to make sure this goes perfect.
And you can't lose fact that a person died because Josh Shapiro's state police and under his watch, someone couldn't go to a rally with their family and could be safe. And it was something that should have been avoided. It should have never have happened. And Josh Shapiro has to take some responsibility.
And he's all over TV sucking up all the air.
Well, everybody thinks that their bar is so low on their side of the table that they think a guy that can build a bridge should be president of the United States. And here, this is much worse. So Josh Shapiro should never be president of the United States because he can't even take care of Butler, Pennsylvania.
Well, so Gavi's referring to part of I-95 collapsed, which was a major thoroughfare in the Philadelphia market, and Josh Shapiro, I don't know, in a month had the bridge that the section repaired the section that collapsed, and that's literally all the man's done since he's been governor of the state of Pennsylvania. I mean, it's just tragic. But getting back to
his main job is to try to get Joe Biden to win Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
That's his number one job, to try to push him through the finish line.
But getting back to the Alec Baldwin thing, I mean, here this guy has 6 or 8 kids. And look, somebody died on his movie and his movie set because the gun had real ammo. But what happened was there was also the blanks that were supposed to be used in the gun. And the prosecutors, you know, they said we had blanks, and the prosecutors had the blanks and hit them. Can you believe that? They literally hit him so that the case that was presented that they only had the real ammo on the set. I mean, this guy was facing 18 months in jail and bankruptcy, and his life was over. Yes, I don't know if it was negligence. I didn't read that deep into it. The only thing I read was the fact they threw the case out because the prosecutors... With prejudice, because the prosecutors were so hell-bent on destroying this guy's life that they hid evidence.
Not that I'm a lawyer, but I have never seen a prosecutor have to take the witness stand
It's unbelievable.
and defend herself. I mean, it was like a reversal. Like, the next thing you know, she thinks she's prosecuting, and the next thing you know, she is defending herself in the witness stand to the judge. If it was us, if it was a normal person... We're in jail for 18 months in some jail in New Mexico.
Yeah, Alec Baldwin, I'm sure, had to pay $20 million to his fancy lawyers. Probably didn't work for 2 or 3 years.
But what do you think he's going to make on his TV show? Because they were filming during this whole thing.
Okay, so it'll... you know, and I feel bad for the family of the woman that died.
She should get
a lot of money
from his TV show. She should be.
But now you have the other woman, the armorer, who's in jail for 18 months.
At the end of the day, she's in charge of making sure the guns are clear.
I guess.
And how does real bullets end up on a set anyway?
They
had a lot of mistakes going on in this case.
I don't know anything about guns. Does a real bullet shooting from a gun sound differently from a blank? So maybe for the soundtrack, they shoot real bullets into the side of a building?
I think they were messing around. I think after the set and after the shooting, people were getting some beers and they were taking target practice with a gun. And I think that and they forgot. From the night before, they loaded up a gun and they had real bullets in it and they didn't know. And they couldn't tell the difference between a real bullet and a fake bullet.
I mean, it's really a shame of what's going on. And, you know, who knows? It's just crazy. But now we have I'm following the Olympics with this golf. Are you following this?
I just got to interrupt you for 1 second.
Go ahead.
Because I want to get your opinion on one other.
Not the Olympics, but go ahead.
I just want to know what's going on with Dr. Jill Biden, Kamala Harris. There's a hatred going on.
Yeah,
there.
They hate each other.
So what's the deal?
So evidently, I mean, during the FAST campaign when Joe was running for president and Kamala very briefly was in the race, she made these horrific comments about Joe, and Jill just won't let it go.
Well, you mean it's hard to forget when someone calls your husband a racist, right? I mean, like, it's hard to say, I'm sorry, I was only kidding. So, and I think that Jill doesn't want her in the White House.
No, she doesn't want... Well, I think...
It's twofold. She doesn't want to give up her own power, and she doesn't want her to take her spot.
Right. Look, I've been wrong on every bet, Gavi, and you've been right. I mean, you know, obviously Trump is running the table on all these lawsuits. He's not going to serve time in jail now. Obviously, that's about... that case is done. Yesterday or today, they threw out the documents case, so that case is done. He posted his bond on the $400 million over appraisal case. The Eugene Carroll case, I guess he's going to pay that off, or whatever's going to happen, they're going to appeal that.
But you know what's nice? It's nice that you can watch real news happening, and you could call me on the phone and say, buy Truth Social, the stock's going to boom on Monday. And you sat and bought the stock at $30, and it opened up at $47 today. I mean, isn't it great that you were able to know what the pulse of the nation was going to be?
I mean, it was just, when that bullet grazed his head and he lived.
And the picture of him with his hand up there, that's just...
I said, this stock's going to explode, and I bought it after hours, just a little bit, but
would have bought more if they allowed
it
you.
was kind of fun watching it open this morning.
Right.
Driving back from the gym, I'm looking at my phone, I'm like, is this right? My God, it's up 15 points or 13 points. Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
So what do you think Donald Trump personally made from Saturday night to Monday morning?
$3 billion. If it stays where it is, he's up $6 billion on the whole thing. He's up $3 billion in a day.
Right. So does he doesn't need, and by the way, he has Elon Musk now backing him. He has Bill Ackman now backing him. He doesn't need.
So do you believe in God? That's a personal question. The fact that guy lived.
Well, fate, I believe, fate, he turned his head. He
lived. All day long, I'm just thinking about, his True Social, the day he lived, went up $3 billion, and he lived. A guy took it, and you talk this Dan Bongino on Fox, this really cool Navy SEAL Secret Service guy. He said, in an hour, I can train you to shoot a rifle. If you've never shot a rifle,
I know,
150 yards and make kill that guy,
and one thing that has to be said, just to let you know how messed up situations could be. The shooter's parents, who the father bought the gun. The father bought the gun, an AR-15 for his son. And both parents are social workers. Not one, both are social workers. How are you supposed to be able to take care of someone else's situation when your own son that's living in your house...
What a great comment.
No, your own son in your house is building bombs, has an AR-15, is thinking about assassinating the President of the United States, and we're sending this couple out to rule if this other family's fit to have to adopt a child.
And the thing I don't understand, I saw it on TV, they don't live in a 15 or 20,000 square foot house like you, Gavi. They live in a 1,200 square foot house. Right. How do you know your kid's not making bombs in a 1,200 square foot house?
When the guy opens up his bedroom door, he's 2 feet and he's in the kitchen. That's how close it is.
I don't get it.
Right. And this family's going out making decisions, judging other people if that person's qualified to have to adopt somebody, the social worker, or and these are it's just unbelievable.
But I told you a story because you're the watch king. My dad, when the last 4 years of his life, he never wore a watch, and he asked me to buy him a watch. And I have a lot of watches from you, and I wasn't going to give him one of my watches or buy him a watch because I figured he'd never wear it. So I bought an $18 Timex. So, and he wore it every day the last 4 years of his life. The point of the story is, when he died June 9th. My sister took the watch, and she wears it every day. And I'm talking about, do you believe in God? And to this day, the calendar part of the watch works perfectly, but the calendar part of the watch got stuck on June 9th, and is still June 9th. Right on the watch, June 9th. It didn't, when the hands go,
like
it goes to the 10th, the 11th. It's supposed to keep going to the 30th or 31st. It's stuck on June 9th. Does Donald Trump now, so that's a God story. Does Donald Trump now, say... there has to be something going on here that's special? Am I destined to be save America and be the next president? Does it go to his head in that way? Does he say God's sending me a message that he's letting me live to save America? Or
You can look. I have a friend.
But then you have the guy behind him that died, who jumped in front of his family.
Who was a good guy. Look,
Yeah.
I have a friend that was on the golf course, and his dad suffered a heart attack while he was on the golf course, and his dad died. So every time I play golf with him, when he gets to a par 3, before he puts the tee in the ground, he says, "Dad, just give me a signal." Like he wants to get a hole in one.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm going on like 8 years. Every par 3 he says, "Just give me a signal." And all of a sudden the ball goes in the water, and I'm like, "Well, what
Yeah, you
signal?"
didn't get a
Like
sig-
he's waiting for that hole in one to get a signal. So you don't really know. I believe
It's
in
like
fate.
a discussion that's too heavy for today. There's too much going on. But like God saved Donald Trump, but killed an innocent bystander with the same rifle and bullets
Or
and
save
whatever.
the country from complete chaos.
Right. So it's like, how does all this stuff work? I mean, it's so crazy. And
Life.
Joe Biden was in church at the time that Donald Trump got shot. It's like goofy, crazy stuff.
It is. It is unbelievable.
So your prediction, does this Secret Service boss, this DEI woman that's running the secret, does she lose her job, or he doesn't fire anybody? Nobody gets
This
fired.
is the perfect. By the way, during their debate,
Nobody gets fired.
During the debate, Donald Trump said, "You don't fire anybody." This is a layup. This is something where Joe Biden can, like, for the next debate, if the next debate comes and she's not fired, and Donald Trump would say, "What has to happen for you to fire somebody? You had the Afghanistan thing. Do I need to be assassinated for you to like fire someone?" I mean, let's put it this way. Let's talk about some DEI hires. You have Kamala Harris.
Boy, that's a problem.
I mean,
for him.
he said, "I need a black woman vice president," and he said, "I'm going to choose
You're
one."
on it, Gavi. You're on
He
it.
needed a black woman Supreme Court judge in Jackson. He hired her. He needed a transgender head of our
Human resources.
Human
or
resources,
whatever.
Levin,
She's- yeah.
who now believes that people 6 years old should be able to have transgender
Such
surgery.
bullshit, man.
I mean, that's in charge of our medical thing. I mean, who else did he choose?
Well,
how
what's-
about the person stealing the luggage? That guy that was stealing all the luggage that that was working in the way.
He won't. He hires Kamala.
And no one goes to jail. They all keep their jobs.
Yeah. So he hires the DEI vice president, and now it's coming back to bite him in the ass. But it's job security because they don't want to get rid of him and bring her up.
Think about this. If he hired somebody to be his vice president, let's say it was Newsom even, and Newsom was his vice president, he steps down, there would be so much pressure on him that
Yeah.
Newsom would now be, as of today, Newsom would be president right now.
100%.
But instead,
Yeah, nobody wants Kamala Harris. But you brought up the Supreme Court. This is really interesting. You know, there are all these pundits on CNN, which I've been watching. I've been trying to get you to come over to CNN.
I have been watching.
It's pretty good.
But I'll tell you what, and I want to just say one thing. You did have
Go
me.
ahead.
I'm watching CNN, but I'll tell you where they lost me at the end again.
Go ahead.
They came out when the attempted assassination came, and their headline was, "He fell on the stage."
Yeah, that was
I
bullshit.
mean-
They jumped all over him. They
mean, like-
crushed him.
I mean, come on. I mean, Donald Trump slipped on the stage. I mean, like, I know you hate the guy so much, like, but you can't do it that way.
And those Secret Service guys were fast. And you saw with their jackets up, all the bazookas and guns they had under their jacket. But, you know, I'm listening to CNN, and they're all over Donald Trump saying he stacked the court. It's a Republican court, and this is that, and this is that. But the truth of the matter is, Ruth Bader Ginsburg stuck around too long. She should have dropped out of the court. She should
Barack Obama told her to.
You gotta leave. I'm president. I get to appoint whoever I want to appoint. You're going to die in a Republican's administration, and we're going to lose this court. They told her you gotta leave,
Right.
and she didn't leave.
Right.
So I mean,
They begged her. They begged her to leave.
I don't understand how Donald Trump stacked the court. It's a Republican president. The Republican president has the right to put on.
What was he supposed to do?
What's he supposed to do?
Was he
Put
supposed to
Merrick Garland on there?
Was he supposed to put Garland on there? That's the greatest thing that ever happened. That's the one thing Mitch McConnell did right, was he held out until. That's the game, though. The game of politics is, hey, listen, you have that vote. I mean, just like, by the way, if Trump wins another 4 years, do not be surprised if you see a Supreme Court justice that's a Republican, a conservative, step down and Trump replaces him.
Well, I mean, that's the smart thing to do. I mean, when he's picking a vice president, he picks J.D. Vance because he knows the governor of that state, right, will pick
The Republican.
a Republican. I mean, these guys are smart. Ruth Bader Ginsburg stuck around. She's got cancer. She was sick.
Dianne
It's a shame.
Feinstein stuck around.
I mean, it's a shame. I get it. And it's your life, and you're afraid if you quit, you're going to die, and all this other nonsense. But, you can't cry in the spilled milk at the end of the thing when it's done.
Or when she was a senator, Dianne Feinstein.
Yeah, I mean,
and
it's
the votes were like
ridiculous.
50-50, and
Right.
you needed the vote. And Dianne Feinstein they wheel her in there, and the assistant says in her ear, "Just vote yes."
Just say it.
I mean, that's the goal of our country, is to just say yes. And she didn't even know. She goes, "But I didn't read it yet." I mean, so all he's doing is you're playing the game. It's like it's tennis. It's like strategy.
Two teams.
Right. So, I mean, and by the way, the rhetoric of the
But
Supreme
you
Court.
had John Roberts that went against who? He made a crucial. Was it on health care
Yeah, it
or
was
something?
healthcare. He's the one that voted that Obamacare.
Yeah, Obamacare. He was a Republican. He went against
He
it.
went against it a couple times.
I don't know who appointed him. Was that Bush?
It was Bush.
Yeah. He
It was
went against
Bush.
Obama. He voted for Obamacare. Yeah. So I mean, look.
No, but that's where sometimes the left will sit there and they're cheering that. Every decision is either it's like, all right, let's stack the court, let's not stack the court. It's like they love you, they hate you, they love you. But one thing has to stop. Chuck Schumer, when a case goes against him, you can't get the rhetoric up that a person flew across the country to try to take out Kavanaugh. Did you see what they put Kavanaugh through? Like, that goes to show you that someone could try to take out a Supreme Court judge.
And I don't know what kind of security they have. They must have a lot of security. I guess they all do.
Well, why didn't Garland arrest the guy when he was outside his house?
Yeah, I mean, it's just ridiculous. Well, they don't arrest anybody.
Yeah, they do. January 6th. There's a whole jail filled with January 6ers.
But anyway, real fast, before our show ends, I just wanted, did you see Sergio Garcia winning the LIV tournament, the golf tournament?
Did he?
Yeah, it's unbelievable, the crowds at the Live Golf now. It's unbelievable. They're getting huge crowds.
They're playing in shorts.
Yeah.
The crowd, it's almost like a NASCAR type of thing.
Well, you have this Bryson DeChambeau who was the PGA has to be killing themselves that they don't have a spokesman like that.
Non-Olympian.
Yeah, non-Olympian. And how about the way he goes on TV and talks? He's such a generous guy about his entire conversation.
And I could tell you now, name me the last person that won on the PGA Tour, the last 3 events, and I could tell you, I don't know, Bill Johnson.
Yeah.
Dick Hurts, I mean, you have no idea. They're just getting killed. The PGA Tour is getting killed.
But I couldn't stand watching this assassination stuff any longer. It was on my TV for whatever. So I'm flipping around and watching Sergio Garcia make this putt, and he's crying, and he wins this Live tournament. And they're showing the stands. It was like nobody went. Now everybody's going over to Live. I mean,
they got the personalities. Not just do they have good players, they got the personalities. They
Right.
left us with nothing. We got no personality on tour.
Right. Anyway, Gavi, do you have anything funny? I mean, this has been a crazy show. Get that Apple phone open. I mean, we need that open.
Yeah, you could tell me about that you were stuck at the airport for 6 hours. What's that like being in Gen Pop?
It wasn't fun.
Being in
I
Gen
had to be in Gen Pop, and you know what? I mean, I spoke to you on the phone. You said leave the airport. I said it was
had 6 hours.
It was LaGuardia, and I would to get through the security, and then to get where you're going, and it's the size of it's the biggest place I've ever seen in my life. It's like Sao Paulo, Brazil, and I'm like, I'll fucking fall asleep
But
in
you're
this
one.
chair.
You're
I mean,
one guy with one carry. You're one person with one carry-on
Oh, yeah,
bag.
I was there for a night.
You were
I mean,
you were easy to go, and you didn't. You froze.
But it was like I'm sitting there and I'm watching these people, but the airports, it's been a while for me, and the airports now, at every seat, they have a plug where you can, plug your phone in.
Right.
That's all new, so now you can keep your phone charged. You just have to be smart enough to bring a charger with you, or you got to pay $98 for a $6 charger, which I had to do because I didn't have a charger with me, in one of those freaking places.
So what's it like getting home, getting to the airport at 4:30 in the afternoon and walking in your door at 2:30 in the morning?
You know what? It's fine. It was okay. It was, I was with my kids. I had fun. It was my birthday. We went crazy eating like crazy.
How's New York?
New York was really nice. I mean, New York City, shockingly, the weather was great. And I was pleasantly surprised. I saw very few beggars. The streets were incredibly clean. I stayed at that Equinox Hotel, and it was in Hudson Yards. That Related Group built that Hudson Yards. They have all these fabulous restaurants. It's all these gorgeous young people.
Busy?
Everywhere.
Everything?
Oh, everywhere. And in the summer, you think they all leave. They go to the Hamptons or whatever. But it was absolutely mobbed everywhere you went. The restaurants were amazing. We had an opportunity. My daughter got us in. Thank you, Sammy Jane. Got us into the Polo Lounge.
Isn't it great when your kids are now they're now getting you into places?
Well, this Ralph Lauren Polo Lounge, you could stand there with $100 bills. They're not they don't even let you in the door. There's a guy at the front door with a computer that unless your name is on it, you can't even get into the bar. But it was fabulous. We had a great time. We ate like crazy for 3 days. It was a lot of fun. Anyway, Gavi, what a great show. Donald Trump,
we waited
by grace of God.
We waited to do our show on Monday because you said to me, hey, something's going to happen this weekend, so let's hold off until Monday. And we thought it was going to be either
Joe Biden.
We thought it was going to be the convention, let's see, the vice president thing. We thought Joe Biden was going to maybe step down. Instead,
So what's your prediction on Joe Biden? Is he going to finish the race?
Going back to one thing you said, I think it's only a matter of money right now. So I believe Joe Biden is stepping down, but he can't step down until he gets that $300 million golden parachute. The guy won't be able to...
So what Gavi's saying, folks, is he believes, and so do I, that they're trying to secretly put up money with all the rich Democratic people and give Joe a package of $200 or $300 million, and he'll quit
because he can't give speeches afterwards.
Yeah,
he can't write a book.
Can't write a book,
and he's basically selling the presidency to someone that can maybe win with all the power, with all the companies that are like Lockheed Martin and all this other. They're saying, hey, there's too much money here, billions of dollars. I need $300 million.
And I can't believe they can't raise that overnight. I mean,
I think it takes a little time. And I think
why? I mean, you think there's like these guys that like Elon Musk, who's a Republican now, but you have Mark Zuckerberg. You have so many. Bill Gates. You have all these people.
Because I think you got Hunter Biden, who is street smart. Hunter Biden is a street smart, down and dirty guy, and he's like, and he has his dad's ear, and he's saying, Dad, we ain't stepping down
for 25,
there's
50.
Some more, yeah, we ain't stepping down for 10, 15, 20 million. There's juice here. And I think Hunter is going to get this.
And they need a guaranteed ticket, a pardon ticket.
A pardon ticket, too, for Hunter.
Yeah, they need a pardon ticket for Joe, even maybe Joe.
Right.
All right, folks, thank you for watching.
Wait. One second. I'm feeling in the mood. And by the way, not only did I buy 45, I went in advance and took 45 and 47 because I'm confident that he was winning. This is from Trump's golf course. And, you could have bought just 45, but I was confident he was going to win. So I am
I'll have
all
to-
in, and I'm proud to wear this. You know, I used to walk around. I can never walk around Boca Raton with this hat
Okay,
on.
so I got a funny story. I'm at LaGuardia and I get in an elevator, and this African American younger guy who was clearly, you know, he had the gold teeth, he had the grill, he had the pants that were like, you wonder how they're holding up because they're like way below the waistline. He's got the chains, he's got the watch, he's got everything going on, and he's got his "Make America Great" hat on. And he gets in the elevator, and I like had a David moment. I'm looking at him and I'm like, let me ask you a question. You voting for that guy? He says, he's my man. He's my man. I said, okay, I got it.
Listen. The guy is a felon. A convicted felon, and he took a bullet. I mean, what more do you want?
Right, they love him in the hood. They love him in the
absolutely.
hood.
And by the way, from not wearing this around in public, I think you're going to see more red hats walking around than you ever saw before. I think you're going to go to Compton, and you're going to see hats in Compton.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be Kanye West wearing them. It's going to be everybody.
All right, folks.
All
Thanks
right.
for joining us. We'll see
See
you
ya.
next week. Bye.